Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me here. My name is Mark. I'll be talking about Agile. So my agenda is a little bit straightforward. So I'm speaking about change overall. I'm speaking more about what's in it for me as an IT professional, what it will get me where, why I need to care about it. Then I'll speak briefly about what Agile is and the aspect of scaling Agile. So let me start with the story. So I think everyone here old enough to remember BlackBerry Messenger. I'm looking here at the timeline of BlackBerry Messenger. So it was born in August 2005. In 2009, it has a big jump where it added a lot of features like GPS location, the ability to sign in through PIN or email, so you have your own identificator. It added voice note and animation picture, and the feature to read reception.
Sorry, can you make it a little bit louder so people in the back can see?
Sure. Should I stand in a little bit in the middle?
You can stand wherever you want.
Okay.
A little bit louder if you can.
Okay, I'll do my best. So this was actually August 2009 that all those features was added. In the same month, in 2009, WhatsApp was born. So it's almost 4 years. Actually, in 2010, only they launched Android. Up to that moment, it was only for Apple devices. 2011, WeChat, which is a kind of communication version, especially Chinese, spread in China for the same purpose almost. Snapchat was born May 2011. In 2011 July, BlackBerry introduced Connected App where you can share through different apps. During September 11 attack, BlackBerry Messenger, although all the cellular network was down, BlackBerry Messenger was able to sustain, and actually all people was only communicating through it. And it has a big jump, and it was a huge impact for the company. In the same year, actually in 2012, the first vulnerability and security problem appeared on WhatsApp through a huge hacking. Remember that BlackBerry was born with an encryption. So in 2012 July, two of the co-CEO stepped down. The reason for that step down was BlackBerry was losing the market against other competitors from hardware, software. And those co-CEO, they presented an idea to turn the company into more software and detach the hardware. And they stepped down, they kind of kicked off because of that proposal. Remember the timeline? If that happened, BlackBerry could sell at least the BBM, which is very, very successful, and have 10 million users across the world. It introduces voice call in the same year, December. I won't go to a lot of details. So Telegram was launched August 2013. WhatsApp introduced voice calls almost a year after that from BlackBerry. Only by October 2013, the company realized to publish BBM as an open platform on Android, on iOS. WhatsApp launched voice call, read reception. See the timeline, the difference between this and this. Private chat was introduced. And see here, it gets sold at the end, only the BBM for 207 million. And here, if you look, WhatsApp was acquired by Facebook for $19 billion. 2019 May, BBM retired. Why I'm showing this picture, and I spend a lot of time here, I'm speaking about how market change. BlackBerry think of itself at a certain point as undefeated company, and that's eventually what killed it. This is actually getting around the change. The idea of change is never old. Change, it's not the strongest who survive, is the one who adapted to change. And this is true across all companies and even products. One of the challenges associated with the company becoming large is the companies become hierarchical. They become bureaucracy, they become slow, they become risk advisor. This is actually part of what's in it for me. In 2016, actually, if you can see, this is the core skill, the technical skill, and this is the soft skill. See the shift between 2016 and 2018. The technical skills is not anymore on the high. If you look, all of them was kind of the bottom. See number 1 in 2016 become number 6, which is technical core capability. And this is where the change happening. This is a study presented by IBM, and everything I'm presenting today is copyrighted. This study released late in July, and if you search for it, it's resource gap analysis, and it was posted on CNN on all the big news. They found out that all the technical skills, within 5 years, they lose their glamour. They are not shiny anymore. It's not really relevant anymore. The problem is with technical skills, you need 3 days of training. That's the average. But for those soft skills, you need 36 days of training. Because it's not only attending the class, it's actually how you're going to practice this. And this is part of coaching that coming along with those soft skills. So it's almost 10 times more the effort for the company to get this. Let me jump here to Agile. So Agile is very simple, honestly. It's based on 4 manifesto and 12 principle. It's speaking about interaction versus tools, speaking about working software as the only measurement, speaking about customer collaboration against contract, just having the contract and follow up, following strictly the plan or delivering what the customer wants. That's really what Agile is about. And this is since 2001. The jump in Agile, and especially in North America, started around 2010 to 15, was getting more attention. The idea of scaling Agile is becoming more and more focused. The idea is you can have some teams implementing Agile, but when it's come to a large scale, it's not really enough just to have a couple of projects running Agile and the rest of the company floating something else. This is a study done by Harvard Business School, May-June 2018. They ask those questions to the top companies. You're speaking about US Navy, you're speaking about Boeing, you're speaking about the biggest company, not only in the tech, but in the industry. The results is disruptive innovation will come to feel less disruptive and more likely to adapt business as usual. And business deliverables measure improvement in outcome. Not only better financial results, but also greater customer loyalty and employment engagement. The study found that all the companies looking for scaling Agile, but the idea how to scale it. Because Agile in itself is kind of disruptive. And here where we're speaking about Agile, we're speaking Agile as a principle. From this principles actually come a lot of practices. Everyone knows about Scrum, but all of those actually Lean, Kanban, Crystal, DSDM, XP, Extreme Programming, all those are actually driven from Agile as a methodology. So Agile in itself is lightweight. It's not really a framework, it's a more of methodology. It's simple to understand and very difficult to master. SAFe in the other way, which is Scaled Agile Framework, which is driven from number of those practices, is actually using those to create a framework addressing the scaling challenge for big companies. And it has a different set of principles. They are actually taking the principle of Agile and trying to scale it up. Speaking about changing word, this is 2 of the best author actually speaking about how the growth happening in those companies or across the world. Those who master large-scale software delivery will define the economy landscape of 20th century. In the same book, he mentioned that BMW CEO mentioned that by 2020, no, I think 2025, 80% of the company work will be software. And this is the motion to move more into electrical car, into more technology driven. John Kotter is one of the authors speaking more about how company could grow and speaking a lot about the world changing. The rate of change is dramatic, and actually the structure and culture built over the past century, and this is what all the companies currently doing, can't sustain anymore. You can't actually taking what the company developed in 1970 in order to challenge a startup that gaining the market. And I think BBM is one of the greatest example. This is the safe house of lean according to scaled agile. So the goal is value, is delivering value. And the foundation is lean agile leadership. And this is a key aspect because it's not only enough for a group of projects to implement agile to be an agile, to be able to disrupt the technology, to be able to challenge the current situation. You need to have a lean agile leadership, and it's more a mindset where you're going to have, and those are the pillar of lean agile, so respect of people and culture, flow, innovation, and relentless improvement. And those actually the embody of scale agile. So scale agile takes Scrum and Kanban as a basic level for the team where they deliver this and structure it, and different method actually, not only Scrum and Kanban, XP, different method of Agile, they're all streamlined into bigger aspects. So you have the team and you build on the team. So it's not only doing the cycle of this, it's also building the quality rather than injecting the quality. What we used to do for centuries is actually after finishing the development, start auditing that, start working on the quality as added in later. The idea is having the quality early in, not actually injected, but actually built in. So this is where you have behavior-driven development, test-driven development. So here, before you start writing the code, you actually test the code to fail before you fix it. XP practices from, and this is actually the base of DevOps and how DevOps bring to the picture through extreme programming, which one of the Agile methodology, design pattern and practice, and Agile modeling for all the team to work on. The idea is actually not creating something new. When we speak about an Agile team, they're doing the same cycle that any project do, but in a very short amount of time. You have 1 to 4 weeks to deliver something, deploy it and test it and get the feedback on it for your next build. So it's actually collapsing the V model which we work in, where you write the feature, then write the story, then write the code, then test the code, test the story, and test the feature. The idea is when you write the feature, you test the feature. When you write the story, you test the story. When you write the code, you directly test the code one by one. You don't wait months or weeks to deliver. So you're not actually waiting and sitting idle in order for a phase to finish in order to start. The idea is shifting everything left, and this is where the shift everything left come into Agile. It's actually, and what Scale Agile is for, it's breaking the silos in the company. It's not actually product management alone, hardware alone, software alone, quality, testing. It's actually having members from all those teams into a larger group of Agile team. It's actually taking the 5 to 12 and multiply this, where you're gonna end up by 125 people in what you call Agile release train in order to deliver the solution. And usually, in certain cases, and when you speak about scaling, for example, things like banks, if you're speaking about, as an example, a mortgage solution, this solution could include a different Agile release train, and those will be lined up into a solution train as a bigger trend where all the silos, all the companies' different departments come together to deliver one aspect from end to end. So this is the safe Agile big picture. So as you can see here, the team level, where you have the team delivering in a different aspects of from Kanban, XP, or Scrum on a certain iteration. There are multiple teams working together into a sync cycle, sync up to the program level, where on the program level you have a different set of teams, which kind of Scrum and product of products, where they come together to sync together, align all the teams together, and each team will have their backlog, and the program itself will have the backlog. And then you have what we call PI planning, program increment, where all the team on one Agile release train come together to plan 5 iterations to each other. They plan 2 months in advance what I'm going to deliver, each team what they're going to own out of this. And this is multiply, and this is the end. This is where you develop DevOps based on XP practices. And actually those are the core competency of Safe Agile. And this is the foundation, and as you can see, lean leadership reside here as a base. When we speak about, and this is, as I mentioned, this is the team, this is the program, and this is where I mentioned the large solution, which you will have a solution train which contain number of Agile release train. And then you have the portfolio layer where you have the lean portfolio management, and here where the leaders come in practice, here where the real scaling happen, here when you have the enterprise itself looking at the different project as a continuous flow of value, and here where you get your value stream mapping, which drive everything below. And when you speak about applying SAFe, you can apply it on each level on its own. So the basic level is team, and the next level is program. Large solution, you could have it or not, and then you move to portfolio. And this is what's called full configuration of SAFe big picture. And SAFe had introduced, actually, this is for enterprise, and you have the same setup for the government entities. This is overall the big picture for SAFe. Based on studies and everything being in the market, when scaled Agile implemented, we see engagement increases by 10 to 15%, reflected by happier and more motivated employee. We see 30 to 75 faster time to market. We see 25 to 75% better quality, because this is actually building the quality forehand. And then you see 20 to 50% increase in productivity because everyone owns share in it. This is the 5 core competence of Lean Agile, and Lean Agile leadership is a key aspect in there. And when I speak about Lean Agile, if you recall when I speak here, this is actually the Lean Agile, and it's in the bottom. And here what you can see, it's lean thinking manager teachers. They are not only managers, they are teachers and coaches. And then they lead the transformation when they are completely Lean Agile. And in order to do that, they need to exemplify the core value, embrace Lean Agile mindset, apply the SAFe principle, and lead the transformation themselves. Simply SAFe is built-in quality, transparency, program execution, and alignment. This is the basis of Lean Agile. Lean Agile leaderships, their leaders must have the knowledge and ability to think and act lean thinking management teacher. This is the precise skill set necessary to practice and teach lean thinking. They must lead and sustain the new way of working by fostering and inspiring the organizational challenges needed. They drive a continuous journey of lean enterprise. This is actually where I'm concluding, and this is actually from manufacturing. So far I speak about software implementation, and here I'm dragging the attention to Agile in manufacturing. And here I'm comparing between 2 types of jet. They are all considered generation 4 jets. Lockheed F-35, Lightning Strike, and Saab Gripen. Saab, for F-35, the overall budget of the program so far, $143 billion. The cost per plane grew from 273 million in 2014 to 370 million in 2015. They have the first flight in 15 December. The introduction took long time. The Congress, they are not sure actually if they want this flight anymore. SAP Gripen was launched actually in 1988. The total cost is $15 billion, which is 1/10 of the budget overrun for the F-35. They are running actual Agile. They run their Agiles. The daily Scrum for them started at 7 a.m. By 9 a.m., all their Scrum of Scrum finish. If any impediment is not picked by a product owner, it goes to the executive, and by end of the day, each executive pick impediment, he should demo it back to the team, resolving that. At the end, they fly a new plane each 6 months. Weekly, they do simulation. Pilots are co-located with the developer. They actually do, internally they fly, they have a flight every day, but they release a complete flight with a new system, and in some cases a new arming system in 6 months. And that the unit cost compared to what the F-35 is doing. With that, I think just to speak about SAFE overall, this is the bunch of training based on role-based, what Scale Agile is offering, and I think this is the end of my presentation. If any questions, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question.